Ladies and gentlemen, drivers, gig workers, and everyone in between, welcome to This Week in Rideshare podcast. I'm your host, Jared Hoffa. It is Friday, May 15th, and this week, over 3,000 Robotaxis are recalled. Uber takes pop shots at Waymo, and more bots hit Philly. LegalRideshare breaks it down. We're back in the car, baby. We're doing it. The new OG, I'm going to call it. That's really what it is. So let's hit it on with the first story here. Waymo is recalling over 3,000 robotaxis. CNBC reported and said, quote, Waymo is recalling about 3,800 robotaxis in the U.S. to fix software issues that could allow them to, as they say, drive onto a flooded roadway. Now, this is according to a letter on the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration's website. This is a voluntary recall, and it's for Waymo vehicles that use the company's fifth and sixth generation autonomous driving system, or ADS as it's often called. The Waymo vehicles in Austin were recently seen on camera driving onto a flooded street and stalling, requiring other drivers to navigate around them. Similar incidents have occurred in other locations. The latest safety-related issues for the Google-owned unit that is bolstering its fleet. So what we're seeing again, we just talked about this last week. We talk about this all the time. I believe Torsten brought this up. Put these things in the deserts and keep working on them. They obviously have issues. The only good thing I could say maybe is that a lot of this is voluntary recalls. Waymo is doing it themselves. So the states aren't stepping in yet and saying, hey, there's issues, you have to recall them. I know they're doing this to be proactive. I think that's smart. But again, it's you throw anything at these Waymos and it seems to be a major issue. And for now, a lot of these issues are technical glitches that aren't necessarily physically harming anyone yet, but that's not the point. Because if a Waymo is stalling at a puddle or any sort of flooded road and a car is behind doing 60, 70, there's going to be some serious issues. So again, there's just sort of these flags, and I believe I brought this up last week. There's still not that many Waymos on the road. And when there's more Waymos on the road, and some of these are clearly having older generation issues, as it says fifth and sixth here, it's going to compound into other issues, major issues. And, again, their blanket response is Waymo's very safe. We're doing this proactively. Nothing to worry about here. It even says, on Tuesday it said it identified an area of improvement regarding its ultra-versatile flood lanes. So that's what it says. So again, I don't want to beat a dead horse here. We've talked about this a ton, but there's still a lot of issues. And the more Waymos on the road, the more issues we're going to have. This next story is really interesting because we've talked about this a lot. And I would love to hear what you guys think about this. There's trouble in the waters here for the Uber and Waymo sort of partnership / rivalry. And Uber's been taking shots at Waymo. And this is from Business Insider. And they reported, quote, in recent months, Uber and its executives have taken direct and indirect shots at its robotaxi partner Waymo, warning against autonomous vehicle operators trying to scale on their own, while also criticizing Waymo's deployment strategy and technology, with one executive sharing a video on X of a, quote, scary Waymo moment. We did talk about this, I'd say about a month ago, and I believe I had said to Brian, Waymo's trying to position themselves to be the tech company for Waymo. They brought this up before the CEO of Uber had said, hey, we already have everything in place. We have all the data in place. Hint, hint, Waymo, you should come on our system. Don't try to make your own. I believe this is a preemptive attack to basically say, hey, don't try to improve your system, just use ours. There obviously has to be some concern that if Waymo can perfect their own platform, and they don't need Uber's app and huge user base, then they could take the market. I think that's really Uber's fear here, and they're sort of saying, "Hey, we're ready to go, and you're not, and so it's just easier, to join us." That's the feel I get from this. I'd love to hear what you guys think, but that's what I'm feeling, especially with them constantly kind of praising the hybrid network and saying, "Hey, it's good to have both sides. We're already here." The final story this week, and I believe I got this because I am currently outside of Philly. UberEats robots are expanding in the Philly area, and this is from the Philadelphia Inquirer. And they reported, quote, Uber Eats has expanded its autonomous robot delivery service to all restaurants within its designated operation zone in Center City. 6 restaurants on the platform told the Inquirer. The food delivery service rolled out a small fleet of battery-powered bots in March, with about 24 restaurants signing up for the pilot. But in recent weeks, restaurateurs who do not remember signing up for the program have been instructed by Uber Eats app to go outside and place orders inside a blinking bot. And they also emphasized that these are not meant to replace humans. The robots can operate up to a 2-mile radius, keeping a charge for about 12 hours. The thing that's interesting about this is we know, well, 2 things. There's an article about Philly recently destroying these bots. They're all over Chicago. I've seen them in other markets. They kind of just go about their day, if you will. And no one really seems to mind them at this point. It's just kind of become, honestly, used to it. The Philly was different. Now in Philly, I noticed that there's some articles that they're just graffitiing them, they're kicking them over, they're breaking them. Typical of the Philly population. I know, I'm from there. So, but they're expanding it. So, Uber Eats is saying that's not deterring us. We're going to expand the bots. The second thing that I think that's interesting, though, is restaurants who have not opted into this service, even though now it's a pilot and it's free, they're getting bot orders. So basically, Uber Eats is saying, we don't care if you like them or not. They're coming here, and you're going to have to work around this or work with them, and that's it. So it really puts restaurants at a disadvantage, especially if they've never used them before or don't expect them coming, because as most people know, especially in today's market with businesses and ratings, and there's stories just about that, ratings for restaurants are brutal. And so if you're late on an order or you weren't ready for an Uber Eats bot to come and you get confused, you're gonna take a hit potentially in your ratings and customer reviews. So not really the greatest thing for Uber Eats to just say, hey, we're doing this regardless of what you think. And obviously these people are really expressing some frustration. The question is anything can be done about it? I don't know. And I guess we'll see as more of these get deployed, how the people of Philly and the restaurants respond to it. It's going to be really interesting. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I'd love to know if anyone is currently in Philly right now and sees them and what the response is. If you've been to restaurants and saw them outside, I'd love to know. I will be in Philly in the coming week, so I will be able to check them out myself. But that is the end of the stories this week. As always, ladies and gentlemen, drivers, and as I always say, everyone in between, if you have any accidents or concerns or anything involving, injury, accident related to rideshare, whether you be a driver or a passenger or a victim, do not hesitate to contact Legal Rideshare. We are the first firm that is entirely dedicated to Uber, Lyft, Waymo, accidents and injuries. Even if it's a small accident and you're unsure what to do, give us a call. You'll either talk to myself or you'll talk to Attorney Brian Greening. We will walk you through the process. Even if you don't think it's that bad and you only need a little bit of treatment, doesn't matter. Don't fight the insurance companies alone. We're pros at this. We've done this for a long time. We can help you out, make sure you get money for lost wages, pain and suffering, and even loss of normal life. So please keep us in mind. LegalRideshare.com has all of our information. And as I like to say, that is the end of this week in Rideshare. See you next week.